Hello, and welcome to Mr. Clix Flix. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Clix, working every day to bring you the best Heroclix channel available on YouTube. In today's episode of Heroclix 101, we're going to go ahead and talk about the movement power known as Leap Climb, designated by an orange square on the character's movement. So if you look here on Spider-Man, it's got an orange box around where his movement is. If you're not sure where the movement is on the dial, go back and reference my Heroclix 101 dials video. Watch that and then come back and you'll have a good place to start. Okay, so how Leap Climb is phrased on the Heroclix 2013 Powers and Abilities card is: give this character a move action and move it up to its speed value. During this movement, this character adds 2 to its D6 roll when breaking away, and it ignores elevated terrain, hindering terrain, outdoor blocking terrain, and it can move through squares and adjacent to squares of opposing characters. When you give this character a close combat action, it may target a character regardless of the target's elevation. So, sounds wordy, but it's not that bad. We'll go ahead and get through this. Alright, so Leap Climb is really, if you were reading a comic book, super agility. And no surprise, Spider-Man has super agility. So he has Leap Climb and Heroclix. So, what Leap Climb means is that, okay, I explained to you guys how if you were to go into hindering terrain, that normally you would have to go 1, 2, stop, and then since Spider-Man has a 10 movement, you'd only be able to move 5 like on your next turn. Well, since he has Leap Climb, he can go 1, 2, 3, and just keep on moving because he ignores hindering terrain for movement. Alright, now let's go over here to a little bit of blocking terrain. Normally, a character without Leap Climb would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, go around the blocking terrain. But for Spider-Man, since he has Leap Climb, he's able to go directly over it. Okay? And just continue on his movement. And then the next thing that we're going to cover that he ignores is elevated terrain for movement. So normally, for elevated terrain, you would have to come down to here, where this arrow is, where it says 1 and 2, and you would have to take that route to get up onto the elevated terrain. But since Spider-Man has Leap Climb, he's able to just jump right up there and continue his movement. And also what that means is when he jumps down, normally if you don't have Leap Climb or the flying ability or phasing teleport, or I'm sure I'm missing a power that does it too, when you jump down you take 2 clicks of damage. Not with somebody with Leap Climb though. They just jump down and everything's okay. So that's how that works. And also there's there is some on this map. Water terrain. Water terrain is considered... Bump the camera there, I'm sorry guys. Water terrain is considered hindering terrain for movement purposes. So since Spider-Man ignores hindering terrain, the green stuff, he also would by default ignore the water terrain for movement purposes. So that's how that works. It's sort of like an overlap. Alright. So the next thing we're going to talk about is breakaway. And we're going to go ahead and use Tab at Wolverine, our friend from the last video. Okay, so we haven't talked about breakaway yet, so we're going to go ahead and talk about these things as they come up, so that by the end, hopefully you've watched all the videos and you're aware of what's going on. Okay, so normally when you roll breakaway is when, like, let's say you're playing Spider-Man against somebody else's Wolverine, and you feel like he's getting beat up, or you want to run away and regroup, or you want to go somewhere and have Spider-Man go up against a weaker character, you would have to roll what's called breakaway in order to do that, since you're already adjacent. Alright, and you succeed on a breakaway roll of 4, 5, or 6, so you basically got a 50% chance. Okay, so you roll your die, you say Spider-Man's going to break away, roll your die. Oh, I rolled a 3. So what that means, if you roll a 1, 2, or a 3, is that your character gets their action token, and then that's it. It's done and over with. They don't get to do anything else. So it kind of sucks if you don't make your breakaway roll. Okay, so with Leap Climb though, he gets +2 to his breakaway roll. And like I said, you need a 4, 5, or 6. So if I rolled that 3 again, 3 plus 2 is 5, which is 4, 5, or 6. So I would succeed on that breakaway roll. The only way you wouldn't is if you'd roll a 1. So I'd say your odds are pretty good with that +2. So you roll breakaway, then you can just, move on your way to go do whatever else it is that you want. Okay, pretty easy. And then the last thing the power talks about is attacking people on different elevations. Now we're going to pretend for a second that Spider-Man doesn't have range, because he does in real life, but we're not going to. No, we're going to pretend that he doesn't. Normally, even though these guys are adjacent to each other, they would, normally, if these guys were adjacent to each other and there was no elevated terrain, they would be able to attack each other. But since Wolverine is considered on the next elevation, unless he was making a ranged attack, Spider-Man wouldn't be able to attack him. He would have to come all the way around and back up and then be adjacent to him. Okay? But since he has Leap Climb, he's able to make his attack from a lower elevation. Okay? So that's all I have for you guys today. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to get my uploads. And also remember that it's only critical miss if you don't have probability control. Bye.